Do I start? Can you
All
all
right,
hear me?
Coach, thanks for your time. Yep, go ahead. Start with an opening statement, please.
Yeah, well, our guys really played well today. And we beat a very good and hot team. It was a great atmosphere. I thought we started out so well. And we really won the first 12 minutes of the half. And then they won the next 8 minutes. And I thought they seized some momentum in the game, and the stop that we made at the end of the half and having the arrow at the start of the second half, we wish we kept a double-digit lead. And then AJ exploded. We wanted to run a couple things for him, but we ran one thing, and then he went off, and our guys found him, which is really good. And we rebounded well. We didn't turn it over, and we played a really good game. And AJ was a star today.
All right, thanks, Coach. We'll open up for questions. If you have a question, use the hand raise feature, and we'll start with Luke DeCock. Luke, go ahead.
Mike, I know you've tried to avoid this sentimentality, but to have Michael dribble out the clock in here and to win by the second biggest margin of victory in this building, the combination of those two things had to mean something that resonated beyond just the one game for you, I imagine.
Well, not really with Michael. That's not. I just wanted to get my grandson in my last game, and he's the next guy to go in. But the fact that we won at the end fairly convincingly was big, because I thought our defense was so good, and the rebounding, is 40-24, and we haven't hit threes the last couple of games. We were 9 for 19, and Jeremy hit a big one. And then Trevor hit 2, and hopefully that's a sign of some things to come for our guys.
Brendan Marks.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned the importance of the second half there and being able to keep it before going into halftime to a double-digit lead. What was sort of the message at halftime to the guys? And obviously AJ came out and just blew everything away right at the start of the second half.
Well, pretty much what I just said. There are no magical talks. I told them we won the first 12. They won the next 8. If we start out the first 4 like the last 8, they're going to beat us. And but if we start out the first 4 like we did the first 12, then we're going to win. And in our really good games, we've come out well in the second half, and tonight we came out great because of AJ. But we played defense, and our defensive rebounding was excellent. So it was a 10-0 run, but that means you're playing defense. They didn't turn it over. We had stops there too.
David Hale.
Hey, Mike, I know, again, you haven't wanted to make any of these games about you. I'm curious, though, did you kind of address that with the team at all this leading up to the game, to just say, hey, look, this is Duke Carolina. It doesn't need to be Coach K's last game in Chapel Hill, Duke Carolina. It's just, this is the next game. We're going to approach it that way.
No, I never mentioned anything about this being my last game. We did talk we showed a kind of a motivational video last night, which showed the atmosphere here and some highlights from games, just because our sophomores had not played in this environment either. So it was more to let them know what a Duke Carolina game would be like in the Smith Center. And that was the main thing that we wanted to get across. And I thought that helped. Our guys love playing in big time atmospheres, but this one's a little bit different for this game.
Glenn Morgenstern.
Hi, Coach. It had been a really long time since a Duke Carolina game that actually had fans in the crowd. So,
Right.
what was it like when you finally walk onto the court and you get this raucous response from the crowd?
No, I'm used to that. I mean, somebody just told me this was my 96th game. So at least half, probably 42 of them have been here in Chapel Hill, not always at the Smith Center. So I'm accustomed to that. That I expect that. So I got what I expected, and I'm always ready for it.
Patrick Welter.
Coach, the season hasn't obviously been perfect, but
What?
you guys are showing up in the
I
biggest
didn't hear
games.
what you first said. The
Oh, sure,
season's not been perfect.
Right, like, you're not playing your best in every game, but you guys are playing your best in the biggest games. So what does that say about this Duke team, and what could that show maybe as we have the bigger games coming up even more in March?
I just think we're human beings. I don't think there's a team in the country that's played well in every game. So if you win most of them, that means you're playing better in most of them. And so anyway, that's what that means. It means we got to get ready for the next game, and hopefully we'll play well in it. They've won 19 games, so they played pretty well.
We have time for a couple more. We'll go to Connor O'Neill.
Yeah, Coach Wendell mentioned that your team really likes playing the villain role, and I was wondering if that's something that can be coached or taught, or if that's just something that a team comes together and kind of develops the identity throughout a season.
I've never even heard that. The villain. I don't know where he came up with that. Maybe he meant, I don't know what he meant. We never used the word villain. Usually someone is trying to play their best game against us. So we just want to be ready for whatever our opponent's best shot is. And I don't think that's being a villain. I think that's being prepared.
Steve Wiseman.
Yeah, maybe because they beat Carolina, he's like a little bit crazy. And I don't know where the word fit. He must have read a book last night and that word was in it.
Hey, Lee, just wondering about that. Yeah, Coach, I want to ask you about AJ and what are the aspects of his game that are improving the most here over the last 2 or 3 weeks that's got him back to this level? I know he was hurt for a while, so he had to get back in the routine of playing and everything, but just what other things do you see him?
Well, he's become more athletic and in better shape. That left-handed dunk, he, like 3 weeks ago, he wouldn't be able to do that. And I think, Steve, a big part of it is how well he's playing on defense. He's got a big body, like he had Goodwin up at Notre Dame, and he's moving his feet. And as a result, his whole game is getting wider. So his first step, he's driving the ball better. He's getting somewhere with his first dribble instead of having his dribble within his body. And as a result of that, because he can shoot, you got to be up on him, and he can drive the ball too. And he's really done a great job of finishing. So, and he's worked hard. No one has worked any harder than that kid.
All right, last question. We'll go to Brian McLaughlin.
Hey, Coach. I just wanted to ask about your defense's performance against Beckett, particularly Mark Williams. I mean, he really made it difficult for him tonight. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, thank you for bringing it up. Armando really is, one of the best players in the country, and is having a fabulous year. I do think that the 2 fouls hurt him. He had a good game, but he didn't have his normal game. And then I thought Mark did a good job against him and keeping his feet. And he didn't get easy buckets. And as a result, he's 4 for 10. He could have been normally 8 for 10. And then rebounding wise, our whole team was rebounding well. So he didn't get his normal number of offensive rebounds. But I love Armando and how well he plays, but tonight, the circumstances with the fouls and then Mark playing really well helped tone them down a little bit, so we had a chance to win.
All right, coach, really appreciate your
All right.
time. Thank you.
Thank you.